Oh man, I'll tell you what. This weather sucks. Weather sucks. It's supposed to be snow. It's rain. Usually be like 4 feet of snow right here. And I thought I'd put on the chain, see if I could get higher up this valley, maybe find a spot without fog. Kind of worked a little bit, but yeah, this weather really sucks. But I can't stand being inside. I don't know how people do it when they sit inside some drip rock box and flash up a frickin' video camera and do whatever they do. I can't do it. It just drives me insane. But I guess maybe I'll do that pretty soon with what I was mailed to me to share with you about the killings, the shootings of Sasquatch given to me, investigated thoroughly by the late, great Bobby Short. I'll have to do that when I get time and do it inside. And they're quite lengthy. So, but anyways, I'm up the Sioux Valley again. You can Google it, S-O-O, between Whistler and Pemberton. And I don't know, I can hunt in this weather all day as long as I'm dry enough or warm enough. And what else can I do? I can steelhead fish in this weather all day long, easy. Would I go to work in this weather? No. Gotta be crazy to do that, right? But anyway, it's pouring rain. It was just semi-drizzling when I left, but whatever. It's better than being inside. I'm gonna see what I can get shared with you guys right now. It is kind of funny. I mean, how many of these do you guys need? I mean, this can go on for frickin' ever, right? But obviously, there's interest. It's honest knowledge sharing. It helps the people that are writing in. So there's a motivation to do it. But I don't know. It's just endless. It's endless, right? As long as people are going outside, this is going to happen. But anyways, listen to this one. Well, shit, you talked me into it. I'm a disabled veteran. I've seen shit and been back through shit. Back 20 years ago at my parents' house, I lived in the woods. Guns, dogs, and me. They live in a small river in the thumb of Michigan. I had a giant Malamute with me, my best friend. At the furthest part of the property, we were just enjoying the river and walking. I noticed something like a brown bear running up the bank of the river on the other side. My dog didn't react, but I thought nothing of it. After a while, I did think about it and told my parents. I always saw all the wildlife, but it was different. I didn't know what it was, and neither did they. I always thought about it, and though brown bears aren't in Michigan, not a dog or a wolf or anything I can honestly point to, is around 6 feet. This summer, I visited with my kids, and we met all my family up there. The neighbors had a pond next to the river, like right there. So every day we took the kids down to fish. With me being the main outdoor guy, I like fishing, everything, so I set some bank lines to get the snapping turtles and relocate them. The neighbors really appreciated it. So we stayed up late one night, and after everyone went to bed, I figured I'd check the lines. So without worry, I set out just with a flashlight. It's my woods. I grew up there. I know literally almost every tree and rock. I'm a combat vet, so I can't stop being vigilant, paying attention to all things. It's about 300 meters down to the end of the property. Halfway down, I thought, wow, I never go out without a dog or a gun, but hey, it'll be fine. So at about 200 meters, I felt real uneasy and started to smell of rancid meat and kept going. Now, I've listened to you and David Pliers for a while at that point, but I figured it's in my backyard. As I got further, all sound cut out. Nothing. Then, wow, my heartbeat. So effing loud it hurt. I stopped and I heard my mind screaming, run. All the hairs stood up on end. I felt like a mouse in a snake pen. It was crazy. Then I felt the need to escape. I don't know how to even explain it. The intense urge and adrenaline to bolt. What the F? Run. I turned around and ran. I was the fastest runner in my battalion. As I ran, I heard it behind me or next to me. All I thought was get home, jump in the door, grab gun, and shoot. I've been shot and blown up. I've never been that scared, ever. As I jumped through the door, the dogs flipped. Wow, I made it. My parents heard me and woke up asking what happened. I told them they'd believe all of it as they follow you as well. A couple days I checked the lines and one of them was straightened. It was 1/8 inch spring steel. What the hell? I told my wife and she thought I was crazy. And well, mocked me. So my best friend bought a house upriver a couple miles from my parents. So we went over to visit and she told all of them how nuts I was. They believed me. They wanted to tell all the giant they went on to tell of all the giant prints they have found down by the river and all the odd things they have seen and heard living there, and different stories they heard. That got her scared. She's a total believer now. Sorry this shit is so long. Thanks for what you do. You're no shit helping people and bringing out the truth. Keep it up. Moral of the story, take guns and dogs. And no, it's not just us out there. Be safe. Semper Paratus. Sean Lynch. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for that email, man. Thanks for your service. I'm glad you survived. I hope PTSD isn't too big of an issue for you. It's a shit-eating after effect from going to combat, from what I gather. And there you go. As you've probably heard in all these other emails, when your military brothers and sisters, every single one of you make mention that it's more of a terrifying feeling than you've ever had in your life. And to all you people out there who haven't experienced this and haven't been in combat or haven't been faced down by a charging grizzly bear or whatever, just think about how intense that fright is, man. That is some intense shit. And to all you spouses out there who automatically go to calling your spouse crazy or not believing them, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You married that person because they have your back at all costs. You are supposed to be your spouse's safe place of all places on the planet, right? So make sure you play that role. And I'm going to say this as politely as I can, but get your head out of your ass when it comes to something your spouse is telling you while they're vibrating, shaking, looking in the eye. I mean, what more do you need, right? I know it's a hard thing to wrap your noodle around, but you have to. You have to open up your brain, see through the bullshit we're being fed since day one, and help everybody, yourself and all your family and all your children and everybody around you realize that we're being lied to and this shit is going on. It's going on. Why else would I stand here repeating all these emails and reading them out? I've seen them. Your husband here, your boyfriend, sorry. I've seen them. Your spouses have seen them here. And there's nothing you can say to make that stop or go away. There's nothing. You can't. And to you too, again, sir, make sure you say hi. I'm saying hi to your parents right now. And thanks for following the channel. I hope you too are sharing this knowledge with everybody you can, including your grandchildren, nephews, nieces, everybody, all right? Just make sure you share this knowledge, okay? And if they have a tough time swallowing it verbally from you, just show them the channel, show them a handful of these videos from various people around the planet, and get this knowledge out there and help get people's lives and respect back, all right? That's very, very important at this stage of the game. What a shit eater day, man. This weather sucks. But anyway, what do we got here? Here's another one. This one comes from an experience in Bosnia during deployment over there during the war. Hello, good morning. My name is blank blank. I live in Portugal and I was in the military for 10 years. I've watched your videos about Bigfoot and have a story to tell. I ask you to not reveal my name. It is a brief story without major drama, but I want to share this information with the world because I feel that I've already kept it too long. In 2001, I went on a mission in Bosnia, where I got to know practically the whole territory and patrols and other missions. In one of them, while we were traveling from Sarajevo to Mostar on a road in the middle of a valley where a river ran, almost at the end of the day, I noticed a movement on the opposite slope, about 300 meters. When I started to see what movement it would be, I didn't even want to believe what I was seeing. At first I thought it was someone, maybe a sniper, dressed in a ghillie suit, but it was impossible to be because it was huge. It was over 2.30 meters high, covered with hair, and the movements were heavy, but fast. It didn't carry a gun or a backpack, as it appeared on the sunset light, so it disappeared through the trees. Nobody else saw it, and I didn't tell anyone else either, because surely nobody would believe it. I know there are more reports during the war, but I didn't believe it until it happened to me. Thank you. There you go, man. It happened to you, and I'll guarantee you it happened to dozens of other people out there right alongside you where you were, and everybody's too insecure to share it and tell each other, right? Especially when you're in the military with a firearm and weapons and explosives in your hands. You don't want people questioning your sanity. And it's going to be a bit of a gamble to give up that information, especially to, I'm sure, your commanding officers, right? who needs a Section 8 or whatever it's called when you're deemed unfit because of your mental instabilities. When meanwhile, you're fine, you know what you saw, it happened, you didn't ask for it, and thousands of people as well have too. But anyway, hopefully some of your fellow armed forces friends, co-workers who've seen these things over there too, if they want, email it to me, you guys. I'm sure a bunch of you are probably watching this channel. Email it over, share it with everybody so we can all extract some knowledge from your experience and help put to rest the mystery that's been plaguing so many people, okay? That'd be really good.
Chilly. A little chilly, a little frustrating. One of my two monster bucks I've been watching for about 5 years each. Finally crossed the valley, came up in this mountain last night about 10 o'clock, and there's no fresh snow. There was a pile of snow here, and then this massive storm, tropical storm came through, washed it all away. So it's now noisy, frozen, crunchy. It's -7 right now or something. And I can't get my eyes on anything, and I haven't a clue which way it went. So I'm taking a break. I'm about to drop down, circle around the mountain here and drop down shelf to shelf and see what I can come up with. But in the meantime, I'm going to sit here and read an email or two quick. Alright, listen to this. There's a trailhead right in the campground. I've been searching for a place to take my Jeep and my new girlfriend. I want to really put it to the test and see what this chick was made of, too. I put in the time building my Jeep. I won't go down the list, but suffice to say I spared no expense. I found this place and decided to plan a trip. This is my first camping trip I've gone on in years. It was late fall, absolutely beautiful out. The fall colors and unobstructed views gave me a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. I medically retired from the Marine Corps in August 2011. At that time of this trip, I'd been back home for a few months. After hitting all the local hangouts in Toledo, Ohio, I'd grown tired of the scene quickly. Not much had changed in the years I've been gone. The people were doing the same, literally, a boring and unrewarding city-suburban existence. I'd been home on leave sporadically over the years. Going home to stay really was super different for me. Looking back, I'd never admitted it then I was going through some rough times. Following the summer spent in Montana, the next fall I walked down the street my parents lived on, going to my friend's house. With nothing but the clothes I had on and my wallet, the two of us were picked up by the recruiter. Early before the sun came up on October 19th, 1996, everything was done. We had completed the requirements for joining, and this is the day we left for boot camp. 15 years after that fateful walk to leave for boot camp, this takes place at Caryville Campground near Luther, Michigan. This was a Monday night. We had arrived Friday. There were a few other campers in the campground over the weekend. Sunday night, we were the only ones left. We enjoyed the solitude and the peace and the quiet. We hit the trails Monday morning, and it was quite an experience exploring that section of the trails. They were more beautiful, and the challenges were more fun too. This area is more hilly and wooded. It really felt like the type of trails we want to experience. The trail sections from a couple days before were cool, but not what I'd envisioned when planning the trip. Those sections were flat and open, mostly sand trails. Lots of logging trails leading to dead-end clear-cut areas. There are over 300 miles of off-road vehicle trails and 700 plus miles of cycle trails in a loop accessible from a trailhead at our campground. All in the backwoods of western central Michigan. We never went down a hardball road. It was all trails. Such an awesome place. So my girlfriend and I are in my tiny mountain hardware backpacking tent. It was raining progressively harder throughout the evening into the night. All of a sudden we hear someone talking. It wasn't super close. We looked at each other motioning to be quiet so we could hear. A few moments go by and then we hear distinctly the sound of two voices. We couldn't make out what they were saying. It seemed more clear and closer to the first. I wonder if they were getting closer. Explained it away to myself as being the rain, matted ground, and the way they were facing when speaking being responsible for the pitch and clarity of the voices changing. I hadn't heard anything from the tree line. We thought we were the only ones in the campground, but quickly rationalized other campers must have showed up while we were out in the trails in the Jeep. We had after all come back after dark. It was possible we just missed seeing other campers. After that it was quiet for a little while. I was drifting off to sleep when she panicked, super quietly urging me to get my pistol. While I was reaching my bag for it, through the rustling of zippers, nylon tent material sleeping bags, and the backpack, I could plainly hear the voices that seemed to be inside the perimeter of her campsite. That was unsettling. As soon as I opened the tent and stepped out into the rain, barefoot, and in my boxers, they stopped talking. I peered into the woods with a very bright flashlight, pistol in hand. I didn't see anyone or anything. She was already putting her shit on, heading for the Jeep. She never got back out of it. I stood there for a few minutes getting soaked and chilled to the bone in the 38-degree rain. I turned to walk to the Jeep, and as soon as I did, there was a voice coming from exactly where I'd been looking. I turned back and didn't see anything. At this point, she is freaking out, saying someone is out there and they're thrill killers. I didn't share her thoughts, but sure was effing concerned while struggling to control the growing pit in my stomach. I got in and started the Jeep. I felt the overwhelming feeling to get the hell out of there. Drove to the other side of the large campground by the main road, leaving everything there. She was frantic and said, "Just leave it. I don't want to leave all my gear. I need some clothes at least." Some of that stuff I bought just for this trip. In fact, some stuff I didn't need, but I got for her comfort. It wasn't about to just leave it. I continued to drive around the campground, looking for and hoping to find someone else who may have showed up. Nope, we were definitely alone. This place was pretty remote too, so we drove back to the front of the road. We talked for a minute. She actually talked, I listened. She wanted to go. I wasn't leaving without my gear. This didn't set well with her, and boy, she panicked, and now being difficult as hell. I drove back over to our site, pointed the lights at the woods where the voices came from, grabbed my flashlight, got out, and was grabbing armloads of stuff and throw it in the back of the Jeep, tent and everything wadded up wet. I noticed that the cooler was under the picnic table, and then noticed the table was not in its spot. It took a second to see the effing thing was upside down a few feet from its spot. I didn't see it at first. It wasn't registering with me in that moment. I felt dread and the sense I was being watched. I drew my pistol and flashlight, looked around for the cooler, thought to myself, where the F did I put it? Still trying to rationalize. Then I shined my light into the trees. I walked into them and reoriented the angle of my light. There, a few feet in the tree line, was my cooler, upside down, covered in mud. This is a Coleman marine grade cooler and is about 40 inches long, and it had to weigh over 100 pounds with all of our shit in it and ice. We planned on staying till the following Wednesday. I had a ratchet strap around the cooler to keep out the animals. I thought, great, all this for a black bear or cougar. I knew raccoons couldn't get the cooler up front of the table, but how does a cat? A bear I could rationalize. I didn't even think the voices were related to the cooler in that moment. For only a moment, though. The fear that welled up in me was the most primal sense of dread I've ever experienced. I had a strong inkling to turn around and run for the Jeep. I looked hard into the trees, then I became aware what was responsible for this is what's responsible for those voices. It seemed like forever I was standing there, mind racing. It was only a few seconds because his girlfriend wasn't having this. The horn from the Jeep went off. All hell broke loose just a few feet in front of me, and the same time to my right where the sense of dread was emanating from. I got a taste of metal in my mouth. I pointed the barrel in the direction, and it seemed like my body was swimming in wet concrete, though I couldn't seem to react fast enough. The branches breaking, the obvious sounds of a big animal makes as its panic runs through the woods. I did run for the Jeep, but it was pitifully slow, it seemed. I dropped my pistol. I almost said F it and left it, but thought I wouldn't make it to the Jeep, so I dropped to my knees and turned around, feeling on the ground for it, and when my fingertips touched it, I didn't feel much better, but I was glad I found it. The way these things moved is tremendously powerful and fast. I left right then and there, almost wrecked the Jeep before getting out of the campground, trying to drive away faster than I should have been. I drove for a few minutes and got to the outskirts of the little town of Luther. I stopped under a street light, coming back from panic mode. The girlfriend was urging me not to go back. I never saw them. I don't know if there were more than two. Only whatever it was there took off in two positions very near me, and was absolutely the loudest, most powerful thing I've ever experienced in the woods. If they were whitetails, they were gigantic genetic freak deer. I don't know if I was the horn or the fact I was reacting that made them bolt. I didn't consider Sasquatch until years after, and watching a few of your videos. Honestly thought I was having a momentary misperception or something due to some post-traumatic stress triggered by the fear reaction I was having. I've never stopped thinking about it, honestly, especially when I'm going into the woods. I'm not much for hunting. Two-legged hunting ruined it. It's not nothing like it was when I was a kid. I still take camping trips and love to hike. I go to southern Ohio, near Old Man's Cave and Hocking Hills a lot. I've never been back to Caryville Campground or the MCCC trails. Wow. That's a pretty unnerving experience. You still dating that same chick? I'll bet you're not camping with her anymore. I'll bet she's not camping. I don't think it's possible for anybody to not think about their experiences nonstop after they go back in the woods. Look where I am. I'm in the Sea to Skies region of British Columbia, basically ground zero for a pile of sightings. And I'm way up a mountain right now by myself with my bow. Am I thinking about them? And it's not dominating my thoughts, but you will never not, just right now I thought I heard something twice over there while I'm reading. And you hear things. You hear things all the time. You are listening all the time for more than what's normal. You can't stop yourself. It's just a survival tactic, right? I mean, you learn from experience as you go. And you try not to screw up with whatever it is you're doing, especially when you're out here in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, thanks for sending that email in. And if there's, there's a lot of you out there, a lot of people out there are listening to these emails, and they've had experiences or they have knowledge that they could share with everybody that would help, especially you government workers, especially you military guys. I know I've been in contact with a handful of you guys, and I haven't had permission to share what you shared with me publicly, maybe one day. But I just hope that everybody gets brave, stops being scared, and bands together and shares what they know with each other. Because we are all we have. We are all we have is each other, right? When it comes to truth and knowledge. The government's not going to do anything for us. All they're going to do is take from us. So anyway, if I could encourage any of you people out there who have solid knowledge, just share it. Don't be scared, all right? The human being is the most insecure, scared herd animal on the planet, on average. On average, human beings are very insecure and very, very scared. And I was noticing a big buck rub right there. I hadn't noticed yet. But yeah, humans are very scared on average. And it sure would be cool if humans stopped being scared, wouldn't it? Imagine how far we could get if everybody wasn't scared of anything. That'd be frickin' awesome. Anyway, I'm gonna get moving. I might stop and read another email. At my next destination if nothing happens between now and then.